Hi, my name is Becky. Welcome to my channel. This is my first episode. I'm a little nervous here, but wanted to introduce myself and express my concern over mental health. I am not a therapist. I am not a psychiatrist. I am a long-time patient suffering from depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, high anxiety, amongst many other things. But what I found on many social media platforms is either advice is coming from folks that are trained in that field, or from people that are in sheer panic with their mental, usually instability at the time of some sort of crisis or out of fear. And what I would like my channel to be, and my goal is to share with you the things that have and have not worked for me that may work for you. So I have a lot of content planned for my channel. We'll see how it goes. My goal is not to profit from this in any way. I am not going to, at this point, monetize if I get to 1,000 and have the hours that I need. I really sincerely just want to help people and provide ideas that maybe they haven't heard of, or things that maybe seem a little out there, but just knowing that someone else has tried it and there's a possibility that it can work may give them hope in a time that may not be so bright. And then there's also the concept of where I'm at in my life right now of maintenance, meaning having those things in place to provide, and I hate using the word self-care, but planning and making sure that you are caring for yourself, both physically, mentally, and emotionally, and ensuring that your stability will be maintained when you are thrown into some sort of crisis that may be unexpected. I know that often I have felt in previous years unprepared for things that just tripped me up and ended up in places in my mind where I did not want to be. And I would like to share the things that helped me get out of maybe those dark places, and then share with you my success stories where I am in a good place, I think, right now, even though I've experienced recently a manic episode of about 8 days, which has been a little crazy to try to simmer that down with the help of my medical professionals. Absolutely love my psychiatrist. Took me a while to find what I consider a good one that listens to you and has your best interest at heart, and also allows you to make the decisions about what medications you need to take. She would allow me to make decisions at giving me either or scenarios. So I want to share content on those type of topics. They always say, exercise is a good thing. I'm not an advocate of exercise, even though I know it's really good for you. But I think there's like other tips and tricks. I think I've been in enough therapy programs to share what I have learned, and things like, mindfulness. Everyone, that sounds like a big word, but I want to break those things down as to what it means to be mindful and what things I put into practice to help make sure that I was being mindful in my day, or mindful in that moment, or setting aside time to really focus on that one thing. I know that there's different types of therapy out there, cognitive behavioral therapy, dialectic behavior therapy, which I am a big advocate of. I think Bernice Brown, don't quote me on that, was the developer of dialectic behavioral therapy, being also a suffer of depression and wanted to take control of her mental health. I think she developed DBT therapy, and I will be sharing some of those practices that have worked for me and then some that have not at all worked and hopefully will work for you. And like I said, definitely use and keep track of or work with your health professionals. But in the meantime, you can find other resources, whether it's someone on YouTube or Instagram or other social media platforms that might just give you an idea that can help push you through your day or help maintain some level of stability. I know it is not only important for you to maintain stable or happiness and joy in your life, and I understand that feeling sad and angry are normal emotions, and we must feel those and work through those as well. But when those things get out of control or spiral and begin affecting your life negatively, or impact your family even negatively, there's reason for concern to try to make sure that we as individuals kind of take control the best we can. And I use that word control lightly because we don't always have control. I believe that in some cases, mental health is a chemical imbalance, and we're not always in control of the chemicals in our brain. However, we are in control of the choices that we make prior to going into those situations where things are out of balance. Like, I can tell when I'm out of sorts. I've also built a network of friends and family that if I start exhibiting certain things, like, it's okay to come up to me and say, hey, you're talking really fast and walking really fast, and I've noticed that you've got 16 projects going on in the house and like none of them finished. Do you think you might be manic? Why don't you schedule an extra appointment with your psychiatrist? I feel that is okay. Like, I have had those conversations where I am totally allowing them to be advocates for me, set up my support system. I want to talk about those type of things, like build people that are going to be advocates for you when you can't see for yourself the signs, that they can see them for you and maybe kindly, I always say kindly, not, I wouldn't give it to somebody that's going to throw something in your face or has not been an advocate of your mental health or your journey through mental health. So my biggest advocates in my life have been, my husband, obviously, and my daughter. And then I have a very good friend in Colorado that has been an amazing advocate as well. And, having those people around you to help support you in times of need or just to say, hey, it's time to go and get things checked, I think is important. So I want to build my channel around those types of things. My goal, though, is if I just help one person, I think that would be a success. If someone just uses one idea or one concept and is able to apply that and make themselves feel better, or able to take something that they learn here and give it to somebody else and pass it along, and it helps that person, I feel that that's important. And just overall, supporting each other in this type of community. So often there's we've got the stigma still that's, I think, improved. I know that when I was first diagnosed many, many years ago, there was not the support system that I currently have now. I know that both in schools, there's now websites and all kinds of ways to get some sort of counseling. Now, whether or not those are all good experiences or positive experiences, I couldn't tell you. I know that I've used an online website in between counselors and psychiatrists during transitions from moving from one state to another where I couldn't establish care quickly. So I know that our world's changing, but it can't happen fast enough. I think we still need to like support each other, and I just want to help a friend. And that's what I'm here for. I want to help a friend, help family, friends, whoever can benefit from learning simple things. I want to talk about having a self care toolbox. For instance, I had a really tough time. I think it was 2021. I had several things going on, and there was about a 6.5 week period I was away from home due to the fact that I had family members that had gotten sick. And just all kinds of like tragedy that had happened in about a 6.5 week period. But I knew that I would be traveling and I would not be at home for that 6.5 week period. And I literally took a box and packed all of the items that I thought would comfort me in that 6 week period of time. And because I was literally driving across the country, I was able to take this box with me for that 6 week period. And I was grateful that I had pre-planned because the amount of stress that I had endured during that time, I had actually physically changed, meaning I had dropped in a 6.5 week period. I had lost 15 pounds. I basically had stopped eating, was just that stressed out. But I cannot think how much worse it would have been had I not had the self-care toolbox with me, keeping in mind that once I did get to the area that I was in for this 6 week period or 6.5 week period, I did establish care in that area and was seeing a therapist weekly, and still lost the 15 pounds, still very stressful. And, my other point is no amount of planning makes you bulletproof. So your best efforts to combat things doesn't always work, but I think we should still celebrate our successes. So I looked at that period in time as to some of the things I was able to accomplish in that 6.5 weeks. Was one, keeping my head above water, supporting several family members that were also having some difficulties, and that were basically causing me the stress, but they were even in more stress than me. So just going through that was, and surviving that, it was a success story in itself. And I can sit here and share with you those, some of the things that helped me get through that, besides holding my breath many days. So I want to sit here and really kind of like share my story, what I've been through, not from a like sad woe is me, but I want to be able to relate to people and see in some way how I can make a connection with you, and really, really challenge you to stretch outside of your comfort zone to find things that is going to improve your life. Meaning, why would you not try to do something different every day if you knew that you had an opportunity or a chance to make it better? I always say I don't like to sit in my own shit. And I know that sounds really silly, but when you're depressed, and I have been severely depressed many, many times, really like awful depression. And I'd always sit literally on the couch crying and having major anxiety, saying, I'm tired of sitting in my own shit. And, sometimes you have to figure out how to crawl out of that hole yourself. But there were people along the way that were giving me ideas, and I kind of told myself, like, hey, if you just tried one thing every day, even if that meant like your goal that day was just to try to take a shower, and then the next day it was, okay, I got a shower, and now today I'm going to sit and hold this cup of tea and be mindful and aware of every piece of this cup and how the tea tastes and how hot the cup is and what it feels like in my mouth and what it smells like, and practice mindfulness. Or the fact that, sitting at the kitchen table and crying every day for about 6 months was one of the practices that was in my life. And someone suggested, hey, you need to shock your brain out of it. And so I took my socks off and ran out into about 4 inches of snow and sat there and literally laughed. I thought, oh my gosh, how stupid am I to be, out in the snow barefoot. And I was able to take a picture of it, and hopefully I can share the picture here. But it shocked my brain enough to get me out of that sitting at the kitchen table every morning and just crying. And I didn't even know what I was crying for. It was just what my brain knew. It knew to sit at the kitchen table and cry every morning. So that morning I decided I'm not going to sit at the kitchen table and cry every morning. I'm going to get my ass up from the kitchen table and go run in the snow a little bit barefooted. I don't recommend running in the snow barefoot for many reasons. You can get something stuck in your foot or frostbite or whatever. But there's other ways to shock your system. It could be as simple as putting something in your mouth that is sour, putting ice cubes in your hands when you're having a panic attack and holding them over the sink until they're melted. So I want to be able to share those things. I feel like I'm in a better place. I can't guarantee that every episode's going to be, I don't know, great, wonderful, positive, rainbows and unicorns, because I feel like I'm in a good place right now, and that means this week, today, this moment. Tomorrow may be a different place. When I talk about depression and mental health, I want people to understand that have never experienced depression to know that it is a battle every day. You wake up not knowing what you get. And I don't think many people that have never experienced depression or long-term sadness or anxiety or, any type of post-traumatic stress disorder, if you haven't experienced it yourself, I don't know that you can have compassion towards what people have to do every day when they wake up. It takes a lot of effort when things aren't working right in your body or in your mind, and just to get a shower and get yourself dressed and get yourself out the door, whether that's to work or to an appointment or to go see a friend for lunch, can sometimes be a chore. And whether you do that or not, if you're the person, that has that issue, you can congratulate yourself just for making the effort, even for putting it down on your list to say, I'm going to try. Give yourself credit. And for the person that doesn't understand that, I don't know how else to explain it. That it'd be no different than someone with diabetes that has to take insulin every day. Like, they know they have to take the insulin every day, but if they ate something a little off, they may have to make adjustments. The problem with mental health is we don't have something that measures our blood to tell us what we need to adjust. So we're sometimes left guessing. So I would just want to say, if you like my channel, or like what you've heard today, please like and subscribe. Like I said, this is episode 1. I hope to post at least once a week. And once again, my name is Becky, and I hope to be your friend and give you some ideas, advice, and just sharing some knowledge and things that have worked. And I wish you all well. Take care.